Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here. It is Sunday morning, and today it's time for a Sunday special report. I was going to do, in honor of the 30th season of the Raptors next season, I was going to do my top 30 Raptors for this year. Now, I've done a star report. I've done different stats for the Tuesday trivia, but this is different. This is a ranking, a power ranking of the Toronto Raptors, 30 players that played for them this year, and the order that I feel like how important they were to helping us in different ways. And also just part of it's on promise for next year. Part of it's just on, and it's not necessarily ranking by stats or anything. I'm talking about how maybe they should have been potentially doing stuff and they didn't. Some that went above and beyond, stuff like that will be my ranking. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to rank 30 Raptors from this past season in order, counting down from 30 to number one. And just a little bit of reasoning for why I put this person in this spot and where. So that's what we're going to do for the most of this stream. And of course, there's all the other fun stuff like the Cosmic Card of the Day, and reacting to the games last night also. But we'll start off with Commissioner Jay's comment first before I get into my top 30 Raptors for the season. Trevor J saying, "Good morning, Raptors family. Happy Sunday. Give thanks to the one who wake you up this morning. You are here because of him today. It is a blessing to be alive." That's right. You can see behind me the sun shining through the window, and the glory of God behind me, and all the natural world and the natural things, the trees. I'm sure you can't see back there when the sun goes down a little bit, or maybe not as bright behind me. You'll be able to see the backdrop behind me a little bit better. I'm trying different looks to sit and do the stream out here. And well, we're in front of the big window right now, but the morning sun is shining in behind me. And very much, this is something symbolizing what Trevor J is talking about: our creator, the natural world, and God above, and Jesus and everything. That's right. And we should be very grateful and thankful for just another day alive. And, it's very good to have gratitude and to thank your creator, because honestly, it's not something people should take for granted. That's for sure. Trevor's also saying the NBA first round was great. All the teams supposed to win came out on top. Yeah, all the home teams won last night. Cleveland beating Orlando in their first game of their round. We also saw a very close game in some ways, and a battle between the Sixers and the Knicks. Joel Embiid getting hurt and then coming back and finishing the game, but the Knicks winning and prevailing in the end. Big deal. On the Western side, we saw wins for the Denver Nuggets over the Lakers late last night. LeBron and getting help from the refs and getting a discrepancy on the referee on the free throw line, but it still doesn't matter because, well, happy birthday to Brendan Malone, the father of Michael Malone, the coach of the Nuggets. He has a plan. He's been dealing with this for a couple of years. If the refs are going to give extra free throw attempts to LeBron and the Lakers, well, he has a plan that'll beat that no matter what. And he has that big man in the middle, Jokic, and the system that runs around him. The Nuggets have the Lakers number. The refs are going to help LeBron, but it's not going to matter in the end because the Nuggets system and the team play of the Denver Nuggets is just so sound and so good. Happy birthday to Michael Malone's father, original Raptors coach, Brendan Malone. Of course, he passed away last year, and we want to celebrate him now. He was born in 1935, guys. But yeah, we appreciate Brendan Malone, the original Toronto Raptors coach. It's his birthday today, so that's a birthday today. And then the other game was I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, it was the Phoenix-Minnesota game. Minnesota holding it down in Minnesota to beat Phoenix. And apparently Thad Young's wife was there, Shakina, and she didn't like the overly drunk fans in Minnesota at the game being obnoxious and very much talking a lot of trash and being silly. So yeah, that I was pretty sure would happen. The balance of the defense of Gobert with the offense of Anthony Edwards is a very potent combination, and we're gonna have to see how far they can go with this team. Minnesota has a lot of promise. I'm gonna say that right now. The Phoenix Suns do have glaring problems with their team, and they may be in big trouble. Of course, there's games today. There's going to be 4 games today. I've got your ref crews in Miami and Boston. Josh Tivins, the crew chief. Bill Kennedy is the ref, and Ray Acosta is the umpire with Scott Twardowski as the alternate. Indiana at Milwaukee. Zach Zarba will be running the show there with Tyler Ford, Marat Kugut, and Derek Collins as the alternate. And New Orleans at Oklahoma City. Tony Brothers is the sheriff in town in Oklahoma City today with Kevin Scott, JT Orr, and Dedrick Taylor is the alternate. And then in LA with the Clippers and the Mavs, David Guthrie is the crew chief with Ed Malloy as the ref. Carl Lane, Star Wars fan umpire, and Kevin Cutler is the alternate. So, yeah, those are the ref crews for those games today. If you're asking me who I want to win for the games today, obviously I'm rooting for the Miami Heat, but it's likely that the Celtics will win their first game of the playoffs. But who knows? Maybe Spoelstra will be able to do something crazy. Maybe the Celtics are a little too sure of themselves. Maybe they're a little bit too like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Miami can shock them. I would love to see that today. No lie. With Giannis out with Milwaukee, I think that Pascal and the Pacers have a good chance to steal game one in Milwaukee today. So I'm rooting for that also. So I'm going for the away teams in the Eastern matchups. And then out west, I don't mind either the Pelicans or the Thunder winning, although I'm kind of rooting for SGA on the down low. So go ahead, Oklahoma City. Beat the Pelicans today, please. And then in the other game, we're not sure if Kawhi Leonard's going to be playing for the Clippers today against the Mavs. Of course, that's a classic playoff matchup from the last few years. These teams know each other very, very well in the playoffs. And it's going to be fun to see this match. Once again, Dallas versus the Clippers. Yeah, in some ways, I'm rooting for the Clippers there. So, yeah, that's the kind of the setup for today. It's looking really interesting, like more great action. Of course, the Leafs played their first game of their round against the Boston Bruins last night and lost 5-1. I mean, we do have to keep tabs on what's going on with the Leafs in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Let's do the classic card of the day. It may be hard to see it because of the glare. We'll have to see. Oh, let's see what happens here. All right, let me see what I get today. No. Okay, this is going to be fun. I don't know if you guys are going to get this. This is a really hard one. It's a really hard one. All right, first person to write the full name in the chat will get 100 points added to the Raptor Freak trivia score. Since it's not as bright out there, I'm going to bring it up now so you can see it. Do you see who that guy is? I don't know. This is maybe really hard. This is advanced. Smooth, are you here? You might get this one. It's a guy in a Phoenix Suns jersey. Very, very interesting card. I don't want to bring it up too much because I didn't really cover the name. There we go. All right, I covered the name now. No guesses so far for this player. Who is that Phoenix Sun right there? This is an interesting one. This guy's actually a former Raptor also, guys, just so you know. He was on the Raptors. That's not Dan Marley, Isaac. That's a really good guess. Daniel Tice, this guy's way before Daniel Tice. This is a guy who played in the 90s. That's a 90s Phoenix Suns jersey, Nako. Dan Marley is not right, Tom. But this guy was around when Dan Marley was there. Unfortunately, this guy is not a very well-known player. And you really have to know your stuff to get this one. This is advanced classic card of the day. He did play for the Raptors. Once again, this is a guy who played for the Raptors at some point later in his career. I think he played for them after this. So, yeah. Man, this is tough. I guess I maybe should give you guys clues as to their how their name goes. Yeah, that's not Oshai Abaji. Come on, Tom. Don't be silly. All right. His first name. No, it's not Sean Marion. Guys, you can see him, right? You can see him, right? You gotta. His first name is the same name as the guy from Tool Time. If that makes anything sense, right there. Think about the guy from Tool Time. What's that guy's name from that show? It's a show in a show, and that's the first name of this player's name. So that'll give you a hint right there. If you know what the Tool Time, a fictionalized show that was on another show, the host of that show's name was, yes, that's the name of the person I'm talking about. So you have the first name of this person. That is not Tim Duncan. Come on, Tom. Oh, man, you guys are – I don't have my heavy hitters, my good people for this right now. Where's Isaac? Isaac should know this. He was bragging to me. Isaac, you are here. Why don't you get this? You know all these cards. He was telling me I knew the Tim Hardaway because I collected all these cards, and I just know him from that. So, guys, you have his first name. You have the team he's on. I've told you he's a former Raptor. Come on. Some of you guys save me here. Do I need to give you more clues so you can get the second name? You can't write it that way. You need to give it to me the correct way because I don't know if you did that on purpose, Guardian Transit, but I'm a real stickler about this. I really am. All right, Fiercey's going to get it. It's Tim Kempton. Good job, Fiercey. Good job not being so jokey like everybody else. Taking the Cosmic card seriously. That is Tim Kempton, former Raptor. He's a not very well-known player, honestly. He's a backup center. that was in the league for a while. He went to Notre Dame. You see, it's got the crazy 90s style of the card on the back. 6'10" out of Notre Dame. Phoenix Sun backup center Tim Kempton. There you go. Fiercey's getting the 100 points today. It's the leader of the Raptor Freak trivia is getting more points a day. There you go. Good job, Fiercey. That one was a little difficult. That was a difficult one. Nothing like Tim Hardaway. All right, let me see. What else are we doing here? Guardian Transit's here. He's saying, good day, folks. Let's get them solid draft picks to move us forward next season. Yeah, I mean, we have to wait for the lottery. That's the next step with knowing what's going on with us in the draft. Once we see the ping pong balls, we'll understand whether that pick is the Spurs or ours. And that really is a big catalyst for pivot on however we're going to do things for this draft. If we do keep our pick, well, we keep our pick and we pick up in the top 6, and that's fantastic. If we don't, well, I think that we're going to keep the pick in the mid round and the first pick in the second round, and we'll work with those two. But if we do keep our pick at the top, I could see Masai Ujiri packaging one of our other picks after that, probably the one in the middle, the Indiana pick, for something else. He's already on record that he's not trying to bring in like 3 rookies. He's going to bring in 2 at the most. So it's obviously valuable to use the first pick in the second round because the pay scale is different than being a first rounder. It's almost like the 31st pick will make less than the 30th pick just because they're in the second round. And in some ways, you get value that way because you can have somebody on a different pay scale that's very much just the same as a guy who just got picked before him. So that 31st pick is extremely valuable. And it's something that the Raptors will pick somebody on. Trust me on that. They will use that pick. Now, the other 2 picks, I have no idea. They could be packaged. They could be traded every which way. First of all, it depends on how the lottery ping pong balls fall for us. And hopefully it's right. You know, San Antonio could end up having 2 top 6 picks, top 2 picks in the top 10 if we do give them our pick this year. Either way, like Masai, I don't care what happens. If we keep our pick this year, that's great. If we don't, well, we've done our obligation to the Spurs for the Jakob Poeltl trade. We don't have to do it next year. In some ways, Spurs fans are crying. We want the pick next year, Raptors. Don't give it to us this year. We want it next year. So I'm saying we can't lose. Either we're going to keep the pick and pick, or we're going to give it to them. And this is not really the year they want it. So there you go. There you go. I like it. Tom's saying, good morning. NBA does have a good product. That sun is a little blinding. Yeah, it's an experiment. I just wanted to try different things. Maybe it is a little bright. I'm sorry. It's changing from time to time, depending on where it is behind the trees and the clouds. Just some natural lighting. Maybe too natural, maybe too strong. It's all an experiment on this channel to a degree, Tom. We know this. Yeah. Let's see. Guardian saying would be nice to get a future star in the NBA draft this season. Yeah. You know, I would like to, who I'm really getting bigger on as we get close to the draft is Buzelis. I really, really do want that Lithuanian kid from G League Ignite. When he played in the All-Star tournament against the Rising Stars, they had a G League team that played against the teams that were Team POW and the other 2 teams, and they won their first round. The G League team was not supposed to win in that tournament. The one of the other teams was supposed to win, right? Well, they got to the finals and won their first round, and that was not expected. That was a team of Mac McClung, Leonard Miller, and Buzelis. Buzelis was the guy who took over as a 6'10", almost 7-foot sharp shooter. The man was bombing threes and killing it and totally took over. They had the swagger to go beat the NBA rookies, these G League guys. So I love it. That kid is awesome. And I'm fully endorsing right now Buzelis to be drafted by the Raptors if we keep a top 6 pick. If he is in the right spot, I want to get this guy. He is a sharp shooter. And with that height, I'm talking about Dirk Nowitzki kind of stuff, guys. If we can get Buzelis. So that's what I'm looking. He's the guy I'm really big on right now, Guardian. If you want to go check him out, check him out. Let's see. Monique saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Good morning to you, superfan Monique Lawrence. Once again, guys, we're going to do our next Raptor Freak hangout on June the 8th at the NBA restaurant in celebration of the superfan Monique Lawrence's birthday. I would like as many of y'all to come down there. It's a Saturday. It'll be a nice time in the afternoon or the evening. We'll figure out the time. Monique, when you nail down the time you want to exactly have it, I mean, maybe it is when your ride gets down there or however you're going to coordinate it. Let me know what that time is so we can give a concrete time to everybody so they can mark it in their calendar and know when this party is going to start. So they want to know when we're getting this party started, right? They want to know when we're getting this party started. Emmanuel quickly. That's right. That's what I'm saying here. Transit saying Pacers could upset the Bucks. I am going to predict this right now. There's a couple of factors in this Guardian transit that make this seem like this is true. There's Giannis's health, first of all. Him not being there, we know the Bucks are not as good. We know the Bucks have had a really weird year this year too. They fired Griff in the middle of the season. They've hired Doc Rivers, which is an absolute fail for the playoffs this year. We know that. And then also near the end of the season, they were limping to the end of the season, not playing well team ball, not playing at a high level at all. So they are susceptible right now. Meanwhile, there's good vibes in Pacerland. Siakam's smiling a lot these days. And you know what? Siakam's ready for playoffs. He is a playoff tested guy. He's a playoff champion. He is a guy who was a second banana on a championship team. So this is somewhere he's been before. In some ways, Pacers Nation, you got a guy who's experienced in the playoffs that's going to help carry you guys to a degree, and he can help some of y'all that have not gotten that far on your team get far on that in the playoffs. So I'm rooting for y'all today. Go Pacers, beat the Bucks. That's what I'm saying right now. Yeah, it looks awesome. Nameless is saying Lex looks like an angel coming forth from the light. Well, it is Sunday morning, and maybe that was slightly calculated, Nameless. I hope you enjoyed my look on Friday, Paisano, and I did fulfill your request for me to smoke on the show. Did you enjoy my Jonte Porter Friday freakout? It was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah, I liked it too. All right, let's see. Fiercely Salsera say, good morning, fam, and happy Sunday. Yes, said Trevor. It is a great day to be blessed as we wake up. That's right, y'all. Spring is coming. There is snow out on the ground here out at the cottage right now, and it has been a chilly weekend. There was quite a little snowstorm. Of course, we always get that late snowstorm in the season in April. And when I see snow in April, I know that, well, spring is going to be here very shortly right after that. There's got to be one snowstorm, hailstorm, or whatever that was yesterday. And then, boom, we're going to get into that spring stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks for playing the Cosmic Car of the Day, guys. And thanks for getting Tim Kempton, Fiercey Salsera. Al Borland, that's the co-host, right? Nameless? That was, whatchamacallit? Al. Al, hey, Al, come over here. I don't know. That show is weird. I haven't watched it in a long time. Yeah. There's a story out that's saying that Tim Allen tried to do a revival of Home Improvement, but the cast was not having it. Patricia Richardson, his wife on the show, particularly saying, yeah, that's a lie. None of us have ever agreed to do a Home Improvement reunion show, and we won't. So Tim Allen ain't happening. That's what he said. I mean, those kids probably grew up all ugly. I want to say that right now. All right, let's see. Fiercely Salsera saying not Tom saying Oshai. Yeah, what is that, guys? Come on now. Come on now. Sorry for goofing around. It's all good. You just wanted to show off your Oshai mode. I think that's what it was. Tommy put in the Oshai Abaji head into our chat. I love it. That's what it is. Tom just wanted to show off his hard work, putting in a new little head into the chat. I love it, Tommy. Thank you so much for once again handling our emoticons on this channel. It's so much fun. Isaac's got Scotty in the rookie hat once again. Nameless is saying number one is going to be Scotty. Well, all right, you guys want to get into this? Let's do the Sunday special report. My top 30, my 30 ranking countdown, the top 30 Raptors of the season. And number 30, dun, 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 dun. Well, 30 players played for the Raptors this season, and Christian Coloco is my 30th player. So you do the math. There's somebody missing, and we know who that is. They're not going to be on this list. Persona non grata. Parlay is not going to be ranked today on my top 30. So that is the little note. He does not get on this countdown. So Christian Coloco is the 30 on my list. Of course, we know Christian this year is kind of a player recap for the season and me kind of giving my grades on what happened. Of course, we know Christian did not play at all this entire season. He was not been medically cleared to play in the NBA since last April, really. And that's messed up and sad that a whole year has almost gone by where Coloco has not been healthy enough by the play to commission, fitness to play commission, and the NBA has not medically cleared him. He's the hands of the league itself, and we have no rights to him right now. Although it does seem like Masai has the gumption to fight to get rights on him if he is cleared medically, from what I heard in his interview this past week. That when Coloco was brought up, it sounded like Masai has a little bit of a bulldog in his spirit about, I'm going to come back and make sure the Raptors get their proper stake on claim on Coloco, because he is our second round draft pick, and we should have first rights to be able to bring him back if he is medically cleared. So very interesting year with Koloko, somebody who had so much promise. We really want to build off his first year, which really wasn't really done very well by Nick Nurse, to be honest. He could have played him better between the 905 and the Raptors in a couple different ways. So I'm so sad about Koloko. He is number 30 on my countdown list. Number 29 is Kyra Lewis Jr. I mean, he really was only with Toronto for a hot cup of coffee. He was in the middle of a couple trades and was a part of a trade coming and a part of a trade going. And he made some appearances on the main squad. He made some appearances down in the 905. He's the kind of player that I don't value because in some ways he's not an intelligent player. He's a very good hooper. Once again, a hooper guy that's going to get out there, fill it up. But in some ways, there's not really any kind of like substance in certain ways in his game. And I found that very evident right away when I saw him play for 905. In some ways, it's like, Javon Freeman Liberty has more to his game than Kyra Lewis Jr. does, in my opinion. But all the best of the young man, he came in for a hot cup of coffee and said hi to the Raptors in between trades, and he got shuffled right on along from the Pelicans to us, right on to the next place, which was Utah. So, yeah, Kyra, no hard feelings, and really just here for a hot cup of coffee, and that's it. My 28 on the list, on the countdown, top 30 Raptors of the year, according to Lex, for importance and all kinds of different factors, is Malik Williams. Malik Williams came right at the end of the season for 2 10-day contracts. And honestly, he did provide some big man size and certain things that we desperately needed at that time in the end of the year. But boy, does he have no skills. No skills at all. No elevation on his jump. No real good shot. Not even really an excellent rebounder. So I call him a big man dud. And I'm just, he had a chance. You're getting the opportunity to come in the league and get a chance to play and start for an NBA team. Well, I just don't feel like he rose to the occasion and showed us his best side as a player in the opportunity that he got. And that's sad because, listen, I'm sure he could be much better than he played for us. It's just that he was not playing well when he was with us for that last little bit. If Nwora and Malik got to hang out and be buddies as Louisville Cardinals on the team for a couple weeks, well, that's nice. Those are great memories. And Malik, you did technically make the league. And in some ways, that is the dream that it's just gotten. You get one game in the NBA. Well, you played in the NBA. You can say that to other people. And it doesn't, even though you didn't get a career, or you didn't get to play a whole lot, you still got to the NBA. And that is an accomplishment. My number 27 on the 30 countdown is Ron Harper Jr. I wanted to give Ron a little bit more respect. I know that Ron did not really contribute to our team this year, but I want to say this about Ron Harper Jr. He was the ultimate professional in every kind of way this season. In some ways, we didn't hear him griping or moaning or anything after he got waived. He knows this is a business. And in some ways, he was a good kid who came in for a year and a half and was around the Raptors for, just trying to do what he's going to do. In some ways, Ron is this guy who's just this close. If he was just a little bit taller, maybe if he was just a little bit faster, maybe if he was just, I don't know. He's so close to being a really good NBA player. Now, his injury made us have to waive him this year, and that's sad. But he didn't gripe or get upset. And in some ways, even though it's sad, and who knows what's going to happen with him this summer, is he going to get to a summer league team? Probably. Is he going to be on another summer league team? Yes, probably. I don't think his time with the Raptors is going to continue this summer. So in some ways, I wish him best. And I want Ron to be happy because honestly, he's a great young man. And I appreciate his time coming to the Raptors. I know, listen, nothing's guaranteed. And he values and he appreciates his time with the 905 and the Raptors also. So Ron Harper Jr., salute to you, a legacy player in the league. And you know what? You're just this close, my guy. In some ways, there are some all-around talent things about you that are awesome. But if you were just 6'8" or a little bit taller, oh my gosh, you would be right there. So it's too bad. It's too bad in some ways. My number 26 on my 30 countdown for Raptors this season is Malachi. I don't want to put Malachi too high up because he has been the bane of my existence. Exactly. I use that word bane on purpose, just so you know. Yeah, in some ways, I am so annoyed by Malachi. In some ways, he made a post after his season's over with the Pistons. And he said, this season changed a lot, and I wouldn't have it any other way how it went down. Okay, so you're glad you were gone from Toronto. We know that. We know that Eric is glad also, Eric Flynn. And then you're glad you went to New York, but you weren't really in New York for very long. They shuffled you right on along to the worst team in the league, the Pistons, where you got to play a bit more. And you got, this is the crazy thing. The day he scored that 50 recently, he did not know he was going to play that day. He was showing up to just sit on the bench like he normally does, but he got his number called because Cade Cunningham was a late scratch to the game, and he didn't start. He came in, but he was just hot, and he got off going, and he got a 50 basket. In some ways, if you had done that on the Raptors at any point in the 3.5 years before that, Malachi, things would be so different with you and the Raptors. Seriously. In some ways, we would have valued him more, would have seen something like, oh, he did a 50. He did at least a 50 game. He could do that again. We never got that here in Toronto. You had to go to Detroit, to the worst team in the league, to get 50. And on a fluke game when you weren't even supposed to play. Yeah, you absolutely frustrate the hell out of me, Malachi Flint. And thank God you're not on my team anymore. That's all I got to say. In some ways, you go ahead and be the king of the Pro-Am, and you go ahead and be king of the Pistons team. That team ain't garbage. It ain't shit. So you go ahead and be so happy on that team right there. There you go. There's my first 5 of the top 30. Christian Coloco, Kyra Lewis Jr., Malik Williams, Ron Harper Jr., and Malachi Flynn. Let me do a couple more comments, and we'll do the next 5. Let's see, because I'm going to do a little balance here. Let's see. Nameless is saying, I wanted Buzelis before it was cool and popular. Just saying. Grady and Buzelis with Scotty. Scary stuff. Well, listen, I mean, I'll give you that credit. I do remember you saying something about him. I really was, when I saw him at All-Star Weekend, I was like, this is a kid that is a green light to draft. When I saw his performance at the All-Star Weekend in the Rising Stars Challenge, I was like, yeah, this kid is a kid to draft. Buzelis out of Lithuania. He's got a certain attitude to him, too. He's a competitor. He has some spark. He has some dog in him. In some ways, that matchup, they were supposed to lose to the other team because it had like rookies and sophomores from the NBA. Well, he wasn't about that. He went out there with Eye of the Tiger, and he took it to them. He was absolutely the best player in his game in the opening round of the Rising Stars Challenge at All-Star Weekend. And I'd already seen his shooting chops from before, but seeing his compete level at All-Star Weekend really made my eyes open up on him, really. And yeah, I agree. Scary stuff. You put him in a lineup with Grady, and you have them on opposite sides of the floor. That is scary stuff. That's right. Yeah. Superfan Mo's saying, happy for Kyle, but don't want Nick Nurse to win. Yeah, they lost yesterday. Thank God, Monique, that the Sixers did end up losing to the Knicks in the first game of the first round. Yeah, they're in trouble, especially if Embiid's going to deteriorate health-wise more and more as the playoffs goes on. They have no legs, literally, to go far in this playoffs. And it really is the big man. They can't do jack shit without Joel. We know this. And they're doomed. They are doomed. This is why I told everybody that you will never win a championship with Joel Embiid on your team, because he is so crucial for you to win, but he is so going to be hurt and will not survive any playoff season. Seriously, he's just that kind of guy. I know people can be sad about that, but that's just the damn reality. This league is tough. And to be an anomaly like Embiid, to have the package of who he is, well, there's some weakness to him. And the weakness is he's injury prone. You add to that and inflaming it up because their coach uses people too much. Yeah, that's a bad situation. And that was predicted last year as soon as Nick Nurse was hired as the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. And it's just everything that, I saw happening is happening. And it didn't really take Nostradamus to predict this. Seriously, it really, really didn't. All right, let's keep going. You guys are starting to try and name your top 30 for yourselves. Yeah, I see that there's RJ Barrett for Trevor and Jakob and Emmanuel and Grady. And Fiercey's saying her top 6 are Scotty, Yak, Pascal, Dennis, IQ, and RJ. Well, let's go and do another 5 of them so you can see how it breaks down with me. All right, and number 25, I'm giving Otto Porter the Olajuwon treatment. Disappointing time with the Raptors, retired at the end of the season. It's too bad about Otto. I mean, as I said in recent streams, that free agent signing by Masai and Bobby was a really good one. He was coming off the championship with the Golden State Warriors, and we needed more great shooting. Well, little did we know, Otto was about to have a baby with his wife, and his toe was going to be all messed up. And this toe injury that he had when he first showed up, not this past year, but the year before, was a very bad injury. It's the kind of one that is going to linger forever for the rest of his life, guys. This is not something that's going to go away just because he stopped playing. He's going to have to manage this toe injury for the rest of his life. It sounds like it's frivolous and it's not a really big deal, but it is actually a very serious injury. And in some ways, I hate how this all went down with him. I wish he had gotten more out of him this year in his second year, but that just didn't happen. And well, I'm going to use the term Olajuwon with him because that is kind of what happened here. Now, he didn't make a huge, crazy amount of money. And in some ways, you got to invest in trying to get better. Well, sometimes not everything's going to pay off. Just like stocks, just like everything in this world, nothing is guaranteed. And the idea of getting Otto Porter Jr. when we did was a good idea. And I would do it every time. It's just that the reality of having Otto Porter wasn't as good as the getting of him. And that's too bad. And that's why he's number 25 on my top 25 Raptors for this year list. Number 24 is Kobe Simmons. The 905er came up and he was fantastic. Honestly, I really liked the energy that he brought, how quick he was. I really like the steals. I really like the attack in the basket and the elevation that Kobe Simmons has. He's somebody who has a lot of promise. But once again, he's in that Jeff Doughton Jr. age bracket, right around 26, 27. Been a G League player for 6 years now, Kobe Simmons. But I am so glad that the Raptors provided him with NBA time on the court this year. I know he's gotten up on the NBA a couple times before. I think, let me go look at this just to make sure. Because honestly, if we helped Kobe Simmons finally get his NBA dream come true this year, I'm very, very proud of that. Because honestly, the guy really did deserve a taste of the NBA. As I said, if you can just get in the NBA a little bit, that's awesome. Okay, so he has played in the NBA quite a bit. He played for Memphis for 32 games in 2018, guys. He played most of his NBA career before we won our championship. So yeah, and since then, he got one game for the Cavs in 2019, and then he had 5 games last year with the Hornets, and then 4 games with us this year. So yeah, he's had 42 NBA games his whole entire NBA career. And he's been playing for like 7 years. So that's special to get back up and make it again. That's a very, very big deal to Kobe Simmons. Next on the list, Marquise Noel. I want to put Marquise higher up, and I really do feel like the potential for him is awesome, but it's still kind of cloudy on whether it's going to be with us. He's being really interesting with his tweets and posts lately. He was very much in the fight last night and Garcia winning and talking about all the God is good because Garcia is the proof of it. And yeah, Marquise is interesting. In some ways, Marquise, man, don't bite the hand that fed you an undrafted contract to come in and be a two-way with the Raptors. Seriously, your chance to be on our summer league team is still extremely high, and your path on our team is still very, very good. It's just it's really sad that the hamstring injury in the middle of the 905 season took away what could have been this year. In fact, if you had not had that hamstring injury, you would have gone to your event at All-Star Weekend, which would have been awesome. You probably would have been called up and played for the Raptors in that period of time where everybody was getting called up. I would say that right now. But because it was too late, you came back and you only had 2 games to 905 at the end of the season. That's it. So, man, what could have been and still could be is there, Marquise. So don't get all crazy and be like, this and this and this about being waived. Be ready just in case. I like you a lot. You have a lot of promise as a true, pure point guard. So don't mess up things with the Raptors because the root is still there. And Bobby and Masai are still looking for a backup point guard. You're in that mix. You are in the names that probably could be one of our backup point guards. You just need to go the Fred VanVleet way. Hang in there. Fred VanVleet path was allowed by Masai Ujiri. You go to other teams, you may not get that path in certain ways. So do it the right way and stick with us, please. I want to see you do great passes for the Raptors as a great point guard. Yeah, and next on the list, I've got Jalen McDaniels. Jalen McDaniels was very much a disappointment this year. And him being so low in my rankings really signifies it. Disappointing year, but still got some promise in him. Well, next year is a make or break year for you, Jalen McDaniels. You need to wake up and maybe find some of the defensive prowess that your brother has. Your brother is in contention to be on all defensive teams for the NBA this year. Well, you guys have similar frames. Why can't you do this yourself? We need to get you to wake up this summer, McDaniels. If you're going to make anything of your life in the NBA, you need to work this summer and make it happen because you're under contract with us next year. And I want you to make Bobby and Masai look like fools because they invested 2-year contract on you. So get it going, Jalen. You've been a huge disappointment this year, and you have so much promise. You have an NBA body, but you do not have the NBA talent and skill to put. I mean, you should have the NBA talent, but you don't not putting the skill into your NBA talented body. That's the problem right there. Next on my list, number 21 is Jahmi'us Ramsey. I was very happy with Jahmi'us Ramsey's call up. In fact, Jemias Ramsey is such a badass. He ended up winning the G League championship, I believe. Didn't he win it? Let me go look at that real quick. I'm pretty sure he did. Jemias Ramsey and the Oklahoma City Blue, going to the finals against the Maine Celtics, and I'm pretty sure they did win. Yeah, they won the last game against the Celtics, so he is the G League champion right now. Jemias Ramsey, our call up this season. Now, the thing I liked about Ramsey was he was very muscular around his shoulders and his arms, and he was such a dogged defender. He was really a 94 feet kind of pick them up and just get on them. In fact, he caused a lot of steals because he was just so aggressive with his defense. I like that so much. In fact, I want to circle around and get him back, Bobby and Masai. Jemias Ramsey, if out of any of those guards that you got from last year, he is the one I like the best because he has a defensive side to him that is absolutely useful in the NBA. And not to mention, he's got good athletic hops to be able to do a crazy windmill like he did this season. And he's got a three-point shot too. So I really, really like Jemias. I'd like to see him come back into the Raptors system in some sort of way. If he's somebody who does not get circled back to this summer, if he's not on our summer league team this year, I'm going to be upset because I want Jemias in our system. And he can compete with Marquise for that backup point guard role. Seriously, he really could. He has promise for that. The third guy that could be competing for that backup point guard role is DJ Carton, and he's at 20 for me. He twisted his ankle. He played a couple games for us, and he looked really fantastic. A really solid backup point guard, had a good shot, was very not flashy, and kind of just really like honed in and like kind of didn't do a lot of extra stuff that was messy and just kind of stuck to the right way to do things and looked really good. DJ Carton was fantastic. And us holding on to him after he twisted his ankle as a two-way, that symbolizes something. In some ways, he has a leg up over Marquise and Jemias because he's our two-way from this year now at the end of the season. So I'm excited to see DJ Carton heal up. And that really is those three guys are the guys from this past year that I want to go forward to compete for the backup point guard for next year. Marquise Noel, Jemias Ramsey, and DJ Carton. Forget about JFL. Forget about Kobe Simmons. Those are the three guys we want coming around for Summer League, Bobby and Masai. Ramsey, Carton, and Noel. So those are the three you guys should be looking at. The next guy on my list is Javon Freeman Liberty, number 19. He was really, in some ways, the MVP of the G League. He had a lot of time on the Raptors this season. You know, I've gone over and over about my opinions on Javon Freeman Liberty. If you want to know more about him, you can watch older streams. I feel like he's a very, very good G League player, but he's not a very good NBA player. And in some ways, like I said, I don't want to wait around for Javon Freeman Liberty to learn how to play point guard. We don't need a 6'3" shooting guard that's undersized run around on our team. That's not a championship piece. So it's like, if you don't know how to play point guard at this point, at your age right now, well, why are we waiting around for you to do that? Maybe you should go overseas and learn how to play point guard and come back to the NBA and try again then, JFL. That's how I feel about it. It's really like, listen, with your height, once again, you should be having your skills should be point guard skills because you don't fit in the league if you don't, is basically what I'm saying. The next guy on my list is Bruce Brown at number 18. Bruce Brown didn't seem serious when he got traded to the Raptors. I'm wondering if he has a future with the Raptors. Bruce Brown's a very talented player. He has a very good shot. He's a very good defensive player. He's undersized, no matter how you slice it. In some ways, when he first showed up with the Raptors, he's going in there battling for rebounds. They were asking him to guard centers and stuff. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? This is silly. We're going to play Bruce Brown at forward or center. What is this? In some ways, I don't like that. If you can get away with it, if you have a very big team all over the place, to have a little small guy that does all kinds of crazy big stuff. But if you don't have a big guys around him and you're relying on him as one of your big guys, you're screwed. You're screwed. And that was a big part of the last half of the Raptors season with Bruce Brown around. We were playing him at the 4, and that's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He symbolizes being undersized. And in some ways, I don't want to pick up the team option on him. I don't know if they will, and then they'll move him around and trade him. I don't know what they're going to do with Bruce Brown. I don't give a shit. Whatever happens with Bruce Brown is going to happen. I trust Bobby Masai. And in some ways, I don't care. I don't want him on this team in a lot of ways. But if he is on our team, I'll know that Bobby Masai have a reason. And I'll look at it that way. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be a Raptor next year. So I'm pretty positive. Number 17 on my list, counting it down, Muhammadu Gay. Good potential, but still a very raw project. I liked Mohamedou a lot this year. I thought that he was one of the MVPs for the G League for sure. His length is crazy. He has a really good natural timing for blocking, and he got a lot of clean blocks on the NBA level and the G League level this year. He has a 3-point shot that was around at the beginning of the season, but it went away by the end of the year. We just didn't see him take a lot of them. There's a lot of promising things about Mohamedou, but of course, once again, he needs to fill out his body and get some strength and, get more experience and savviness. In some ways, I want him to learn more things better fundamentally. There were a lot of dumb mistakes that he made on the G League, and they showed when he came up for the Raptors later in the year that there were still a lot of the dumb mistakes he was making for the 905 came up, and that's no good. You gotta refine your game this summer, Mohamedou, if you want to be a full-time NBA player, because you make too many turnovers and you're not fundamentally playing right. This is a lot of the thing for a lot of these young guys that are on the cusp. They need to be fundamentally better. JFL, same with you. Same with Mohamedou. Yeah, that's and then number 16 on my list is Precious Achua. I think Precious is a supreme athlete, but he's still got another level as a player, but he is now a Knick. Of course, Precious, a very, very good player in a lot of different ways, but I'm putting him here at this point because I feel like there's other Raptors that play for us that were more important for us this year. In some ways, Precious was kind of shuffled with Malachi in this category of like, oh, bench players that are inconsistent, cause problems for our team and stuff like that. I personally like Precious a lot. I think that he's going to be fantastic for the Knicks in the future. It's interesting they didn't play him last night against the Sixers in any kind of way. He didn't even get it. They had a very short 8-man rotation for the Knicks last night, and Precious was not one of those 8. I was pretty sure that they would use him on Embiid, but you know what? I bet you this is what it is. Thibodeau wants to throw different looks at Embiid over the course of the series. You play one team in a 7-game series. Well, if you're having trouble, in some ways, Precious is breaking in case of emergency to give another defensive look against Embiid down the road in the series. But man, I'm a big, huge Precious fan, and I could have put him higher in this list, but I put him right in the middle at number 16. So there you go. We'll take a break after doing the half of it, and we'll do the next half after I do some more of the comments. Yeah, there you go. Mischief saying Matthias Buzelis averaging 14 points per game and 26% 3-point shooter. Okay, Mischief doesn't like that. He doesn't like that. He wants a 40% 3-point shooter. Are you sure that number's correct? That doesn't sound right to me, actually, Mischief. That you're saying that he is a let me go look at his stats because I don't believe that. I think he's a better shooter than that. I don't remember him being that bad of a shooter. Let's see. Where's the 3-point percentage for that team? Oh, yeah. He's on here in the Showcase Cup. He only shot 22%. And then in the regular season, he shot 27. Yeah, okay. So maybe he isn't as good a 3-point shooter as I thought. He's maybe okay. All right, interesting. Nameless is saying Buzelis is one of those sleeping beauties that experts keep alluding to. I'm sure of it. Okay, yeah. I'm just saying the dog he showed in the Rising Stars Challenge was something else. There was a determination. That's what I'm saying. Now, in some ways, those shooting numbers they can be improved. He's got a nice form, and I'm actually shocked at your quote, Mischief, about what his shooting percentage is. It should be higher than that. That's really not that good. I could see him being in the 30s, the mid 30s very soon. I don't know. That's weird. I always thought he was a better Deadeye than that. Those stats don't say that. Let's see. Transit saying top 6 for him are Scotty, RJ, IQ, Kelly, Grady, and Jakob. Yeah. And Nako saying I'd give Ron more importance than Noel. You'd give Ron Harper more importance than Noel? No, because there's more of a future for Noel in our future going forward than Ron Harper. We've looked at Ron Harper. I don't think he's going to be coming back anywhere near the Raptors at this point. So, but this is part of the ranking. It's just like this is my own sensibilities. There's no real scientificness to this. It's not by stats. It's just really by my outlook on how they contributed and how important they were to our team this year. Is kind of that kind of stuff. And also some of it is favoritism from me. We'll see that soon. All right, we'll go even further. Number 15 on the list was Thaddeus Young for me. Veteran who jumped into the lineup at certain points during the season was very, very helpful. Him and Garrett had similarities in this way that, Thad, we've had him around our team for a few years until we traded him this year. And he was so important at times where he just jump in and play backup center. We saw him do important things for us in the playoffs and that Philadelphia series in that first round. We've seen him just be a really good vet behind the scenes, a good voice around the team, just somebody who's awesome. Darko said these vets on our team were so key for leadership on our team. And Thaddeus was that guy. He does so much more behind the scenes than we realize. He's always talking. He's being a mentor. He's being just a great father figure and a great kind of guy like that, because that's who he is. So kudos to Thad Young, a great Raptor forever. He's going to be a great Raptor alumni no matter what. He's just the class act pro and the top-notch way in every kind of way. And if it was playing more important stuff, I would put him higher on this list. But I think 15 is a fair one for him. And you see, I've ranked him over Precious. And you know that Precious contributed more to our team than Thaddeus. But in some ways, Thaddeus contributed more in his leadership and just being a pro the whole time he was as a Raptor. So kudos to you, Thad Young. Number 14 on my list is Jordan Wara out of Buffalo. Buffalo guy is a mixed bag of good and bad, and I like him. Yeah, Wara was fantastic to see show up in the middle of the season. We saw some really cool dunks. We saw some goofy shots from three that he made. All kinds of fun stuff with Wara. A couple bungles here, maybe a turnover here or there, stuff like that. It's a mixed bag of good and bad. But I like the fact that he was a Raptors fan before he came to the Raptors. In some ways, he respects our franchise, being from Buffalo and being in our market and watching the Raptors as a kid. So listen, Jordan, if you're on our team next year, I'll be happy, but I don't know if it's for sure. You're really kind of one of those kind of 50-50 people, maybe a little bit like Bruce Brown. I would say you're more likely to be back next year than Bruce in some ways. But I like Jordan Wara this year. I thought he was a good personality. He obviously wants to be here in Toronto, and he's definitely somebody to consider investing in this summer, Bobby Masai, as far as I'm concerned. In some ways, I'm giving you my detailed report on each guy and how I feel about them for next season and possibly coming back. Well, I give you a thumbs up for Jordan if the price is right. The price is right. Next on my list is Chris Boucher, last champion standing on the Raptors at this point, longest standing Raptor at this point. I value him for the future myself. I've said it a couple times. I'd love for him to be the Haslam for the Raptors. That would be amazing if we could keep him around just as a culture guy for a long, long time. I don't know what's going to happen with Chris. Chris got on a plane yesterday with Air Canada, and Air Canada is messing with him. So he's putting a tweet out about Air Canada. Ooh, yeah, I know. Haven't flown Air Canada in a long time, because usually if I'm flying to the States and it's Delta or something like that. But yeah, I've heard horror stories about Air Canada in certain ways and how it is. So Chris dealing with Air Canada yesterday. I don't know. I want Chris to stay around this team, but he has a very dubious future with the Raptors. We have no idea how things are going to go with him. In some ways, the signs are already showing that Darko does not really have a place for him in his system of how he does things. And I think it's because Chris is a below average passer, and that in Darko's system, you have to be a very high level passer. Now, Bobby Masai and Darko, would you invest in having just a veteran minimum on him around just for culture and just for good things? In some ways, I don't know. I want to see what happens with Chris Boucher this summer. In some ways, I'd love for him to continue to be here, especially since I'm a new moderator on his Twitch stream. The next person on my list is OG. I put OG at 12. I could have put OG way higher on this list. In fact, he's more important, obviously, for winning and different things that we did this year. But in some ways, I'm giving him a further down the list because I really do feel like he checked out on us a little early. But I'm not going to get mad at him because he just, things were going to happen. There was shifting, changes coming, and in some ways, OG was inevitable to be having to leave. I give him that spot just out of respect for what he's accomplished and done as a Toronto Raptor, going up to before becoming a Knick. Well, I don't wish any ill will to OG. It's just that I understand that in some ways he had checked out with us at the beginning of the season, and I'm not going to reward that. But I do have to reward to him a certain amount of him passionately working for us in certain ways still in certain times, if not all the time. But still, he did add up to some of our wins and whether we won or not earlier in the season while he was still on our team. So, yeah, there's where OG is. I actually put Garrett next, guys. Garrett Temple, number 11, above OG Anunoby, because we found out the profound effect that Garrett Temple has had on the Raptors this entire season as far as leadership and just being a badass. And having a player union rep on your team is a very good thing to happen. Of course, we know that he politics and talks to all the refs a lot, and gets us more fair calls. Just having a presence of Garrett Temple on our team. It's almost like this. It's like a character in a video game. If you're going to add to your RPG, your team that's going on tour, you need to get all these bonuses if you're going to go out and fight. And well, Garrett's a special character because he gives you a couple bonuses in areas that are interesting, like with refs and with the other teams and with respect and just connections. He's a connections guy. And in some ways, I really do value this, and I really do want to bring him back if we can. I know a lot of people were saying that at the end of season interviews, that if we can get Temple back, that'd be fantastic. But it could be Father Time is saying, yeah, it's time. Sorry, guy. Or it could be that he gets snatched up by another team this summer, or it could be that we are keeping him and he will be on the Raptors again next season. That's the one I want right there. All right, yeah. We'll do the top 10 next. There's the next 5. We have 10 more to go. Let's keep going. Nako's saying, or let's see, Bryce is saying good morning, Lex and the Raptor Freaks. Good morning to you, Bryce Lawson, in Kentucky on the state side in the heartland of basketball. Tom saying, who's the bench for that top 6 of the Raptors? Knicks used 3 dudes last night off their bench who helped immensely. McBride is a great backup point guard. McBride is instant offense. He's like a Vinny the Microwave Johnson for the Knicks. He's absolutely a huge factor in winning. He's a driver for winning. In fact, the last time we played the Knicks, he's the one who killed us. He's the one who killed us. Absolutely, with this amazing three-point shooting. And that really is what it is. He's very accurate from 3, and all of a sudden he's got like 6 or 7 from three-point range. He's the catalyst. He's the offensive driver. If OG's on the other end stopping somebody, well, McBride's going there filling up the basket at the other end for the Knicks to get points. It is nice to see Bojan Bogdanovic finally do something worthwhile for the Knicks and hit some shots for them also. Yeah. Tom's saying JoJo looked like he was done after, again, at one point after a crazy alley-oop to himself. Yeah, that was ridiculous. In some ways, it's very impressive the movie did, but also at the same time, it's like, Joel, you get hurt so easily. Why are you doing something so risky, my guy? Why are you doing something so risky? Slug DZ saying 3 teams in 1 year and wouldn't change nothing. See, this is the thing. That's a real Raptors fan right there. And I'm going to give Slug DZ a dunk right now because honestly, he's right. He saw 3 different teams for the Raptors this year, and he wouldn't change nothing because he knows the end of it all got us the good place. You got a Kawhi Leonard number 2, Slug DZ. So 2 dunks for Slug. I love it. I'm with him. I wouldn't change anything about this season. I would have liked to win more, but if we had to go through this to get to the transitionary period, the metamorphosis from the team we were at the beginning of the season to get to the point we're at the end of the season, I would do it because in some ways it's a healthy transformation. In some ways, some teams may be going even worse with their vibes and feelings around the team. That was the opposite. We went from bad, kind of weird, unsettled vibes to very good vibes and positive vibes and understanding where we all are together going forward into the next season. And I wouldn't change it either. Guardian saying, I would like us to get those ping pong balls right and get Alexander Sarr. It's a 10% chance we'll get the number 1 pick, guys. That could happen. That's what I'm saying. The draft lottery is going to be very interesting for Raptors fans. We're going to have to see how it all comes down. And man, who knows? Who knows what could happen? The Raptors franchise historically has luck in the draft lottery. Not bad luck, good luck. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Nameless is saying, Slug, you from Scarborough? Scarborough loves us gangsters. All right, let's see. Bryce is saying, I came across a video talking about us having some of the best odds to land Trae Young. It sounds stupid, but I thought about it. Maybe an IQ and Trae swap wouldn't be bad, but we would give up a lot. No, I'm not about that. In some ways, Trae Young is not a well-rounded player. That's weird that there's press out there, people talking about that. No, I'm not interested. I like the idea of him going to the Lakers. There's been a lot of talk about him going to the Spurs and playing with Wemby. That's another interesting landing spot for Trae Young. I think it's true. He will lead the Hawks, but man, I don't want him here. He's a player that I do not like in any kind of way because he is such a defensive liability. I do not want Trae Young in a Raptors jersey, and that I would not give up IQ for him. IQ I highly value way more than Trae Young, if that says anything. I think that what IQ is going to become in the next couple of years will be better than what Trae Young has been his whole career. And that people will be like, what? Casuals will be like, what? I'm telling you, Trae Young's flashy because he scores, and that's what they overvalue. In some ways, he's not a good player other than that. And that's why I'm not buying this shit, because IQ has so much more sides to his game that are attractive to me than just the crazy scoring prowess of Trae Young. So it's a big no from me right away because I think IQ is a better player than him. How about that? Wow, wow. And people would be like, "Whoa, you said Emmanuel Quigley is better than Trae Young?" Yeah, I did. I did. And come back and see me in like 2 or 3 years. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stargate saying, "Man, I have new favorite player in the playoffs, Deuce McBride." That's right. Miles McBride, the deucer. Well, he should be called the tripler because he's hitting those threes the way he is. Hey, it's Dana's here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, Canadian Dana. A great Canadian. I am Canadian Dana. That's right. All right, let's do the next part of the top 30. We're going to go to the top 10 now. And my number 10 is Oshai Abaji. Raptors' new defensive stopper has real promise as a player to make a leap. Yeah, I really like Oshai. I think his athleticism is really top notch. I mean, the guy has really good hops. You see how tall he is, and you see how high up he gets over the rim. That's a really incredible athleticism. And if he can hone it in and really get more focused in certain ways on defense, he's going to be one of the best defensive players in the entire league. I'm telling you right now. Now, I'd like him to make more of his open threes, and we'll be good. There's some ways that he could attack the rim even better in the future also. But Abaji, we have him under contract. It's like team options. And, well, let's get him going this summer in better and better ways. And I love it. I love it. We're going to see Abaji be an important Raptor in the years to come. Watch. I'm telling you right now. Number 9 on my list is Dennis. Dennis Schroeder came to the Raptors as a FIBA MVP off of a gold medal win with the German team. And he honestly was a top-notch pro the whole time he was here. I wish we had given him more time. As Masai said, it wasn't Dennis's fault what happened this year with him. It was our fault because we switched directions. And maybe some ways we saw our course shifting and changing. And Dennis made more sense with guys like OG and Pascal, but not so much with the newer guys coming in. So tough decisions were made. Dennis didn't do anything wrong. In fact, he added up to winning some games for us in the beginning of the season. He was a very steady, good point guard for the beginning of the season for us. Some people did not like it. They didn't like him starting. Well, screw you. He was a very, very good player for us. And I appreciate Dennis Schroeder being a pro and doing what he did for the Raptors in the half a season that he was played for us. Dennis is such a good guy. He was in Cleveland yesterday at the game for the Magic and the Cavs, supporting his German teammates, the Wagners, at the game, watching the Orlando lose to Cleveland. But he's a big friend of Mo and Franz, so he went there and watched them play because he's that kind of guy as a friend. So there you go. That says a lot about Dennis right there. He's going to the Cleveland Orlando game yesterday to go and support his German friends from his German team. So yeah, that's just the kind of guy Dennis is, guys. Number 8 on my list is Gary Trent Jr. Gary was really one of the most important Raptors this season because he was the healthy guy who was around for most of the whole entire season. So he played the most games for the Raptors this season. But we know at the beginning of the season, he was bogged down by plantar fasciitis. So he had no lift and he was missing a lot of his shots. Inconsistent, very inconsistent at the beginning of the year. I would have put him higher in the top 5 possibly if he hadn't been so inconsistent this year. I don't know what's going to happen with Gary. In some ways, the money's got to be right if we're going to reinvest in him this summer and bring him back as a Raptor. The money's just got to be right, Gary. You and Rich Paul cannot get greedy in this process. If you do, well, hasta la vista. I'm sorry. There's going to be all kinds of other options for us. And if you price yourself out on the Raptors, well, so be it. That's what you have to consider if you really value being in the 6 and playing with the Raptors. You can't price yourself out for us by trying to use the Lakers or somebody else to put the number up. So please, Gary, if you really want to be a Raptor, you need to work with us, and we need to find a fair middle ground price between you and the team. That's what I got to say right there. Number 7 on my list is Siakam. Siakam is a GOAT. Siakam will always be a GOAT. In my opinion, he's number 2 on the list after Lowry. It was sad to see him go, especially because he really does love Toronto and he didn't want to leave here. But it was just had to be because it's Scotty's team. And in some ways, Pascal with Scotty works really well and it looks really good, but in some ways it doesn't. And it just has to be like this. The investment that's going towards Siakam this summer is going to be astronomical. And if the Raptors are going to take on that cap in their cap space, no, that's a little bit hamstringing us and making it really hard for us to maneuver flexible ways if we're going to tie up Scotty and Pascal in a certain way. So the writing was on the wall. We had to do the tough thing this year, and trade Siakam to the Pacers. But he was absolutely crucial to winning the games that we won in the fall. The games that he played well at a high level, we won, and he adds up to winning. And he needs to add up to winning for the Pacers in this postseason. Now, Siakam, salute to you. A GOAT, somebody that will always be in my good books forever now. So you do your thing, Siakam. Spicy spin. Go on and beat the Milwaukee Bucks today, my guy. Please do that. All right, next on the list is Kelly Olynyk, number 6 from the 6. Captain Canada came home, and I'm so happy about that. In some ways, I'm giving him a higher ranking on the list because of the future that's coming up with him on our team. In some ways, I'm giving him a higher ranking because of Team Canada bonuses. In some ways, I'm giving him a higher ranking because he is from Scarborough. And we love that Kelly's back. Like I said, I've hated Kelly for many, many years. I've thought he was a goon, a dirty player. But now that he plays for my team, I love him. I love him so much. And I'm so glad that Kelly Olynyk came home and now he's in a Raptors jersey. You know, it's weird because for many years, I thought he hated Toronto for some reason. I thought he was like a West Coast Canadian. And sometimes West Coast Canadians are kind of like, I hate Toronto. Toronto sucks. My uncle's like that. And no, it's not true. He actually has a lot of good memories of being in Toronto. I thought he was just one of those West Coast guys. And he kind of, the way he would hurt our team in different ways when he was on the Celtics and the Heat and other teams in his career, I was like, yeah, Kelly's that one Canadian guy that I just can't stand because he seems like he's anti-Toronto. Well, that is not true in any kind of way. He shows up here and he's extremely happy to be in the Raptors jersey, and he is fulfilling a dream, actually. So I was like, I was so wrong about that. I was like, man, he's the only Canadian guy I can't stand. Well, I love him now because he does his dirty work for us now. And Kelly is awesome. Very, very intelligent vet. Just very happy to have him on our team. All right, we got the top 5 coming up. Let's go a little further in the chat, and we're kind of balancing this. Yeah. Let's see. We're at Stargate. He says he likes this Knicks team. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I like Precious and OG. Let's see. Fiercey saying Otto's retirement post was sad to read. It must be tough when you realize it's over. Yeah, he had a really good career, though. A nice long career. Some guys don't get that long. In some ways, you got to count your blessings for what you get. And that's why you should really respect whether you can still play in the league. Like DeMar DeRozan's, he knows he can still play at a high level, so he wants to continue playing. But some guys, you may want to continue playing, but your body's just not good enough anymore, or it's just not a place, or maybe you were kind of an asshole. The league is like, you know what, you're good, but you're not good enough for us to put up with your bullshit. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff and how things kind of get sussed out, whether you're going to be in the league anymore. Well, it's too bad. Otto's toe really made it hard for him to manage. And in some ways, that's it. I would be actually more upset with him if he was like all of a sudden going to another team and playing and he's healthy and he played like 70 games and actually contributed to another team. In some ways, him just retiring, okay, I can deal with that. In some ways, that's sad, like you said. Stargate saying not going to turn in Milbester, though. Milbester, I wish you well if you are still watching us. Knicks, go Knicks. Beat the Sixers. I am with you, Knicks Nation. Beat Nick Nurse and the Sixers. I am fully 100% with Ben Stiller, Chuck D, Mitchell Robinson, Tom Thibodeau, OG Anunoby, and Precious Achua. Yes, 100% with you guys against Philadelphia. So you beat them. Go on now, New York. You do it. Nako's top ones are Scotty, a tie with RJ and Grady, then IQ, Jakob, OG, Pascal, Oshai, Kelly, and Garrett. That is his top 10. Yeah, a lot of the same names in your top 10 as mine, just shuffled around. Stargate saying, yeah, Jalen, go work with your brother. If you could be anything like your brother defensively, we can live with that. I'm saying you can't get mad. Once again, Grange trying to point out that Masai Ujiri's free agency decisions have not panned out recently. Look at them, Grange. You just got Otto Porter off a championship year with the Golden State Warriors, and he was one of their best contributors as far as three-point shooting and all that stuff. That looks really good on paper, and that makes sense in so many different ways, like it's a slam dunk. Well, it just didn't work out because of a toe. And then, Jalen McDaniels, I think that anybody can assess something could happen with him at any moment that makes him have an increased value for the money that he's being paid right now. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand there's some way that he could just all of a sudden switch something on. if you looked at across the league, I bet you Bobby Masai look at all the kind of players that are in that category, and they're like, well, Jalen, he really looks like he could bust and come out, like, I shouldn't use that word, really explode and be really good all of a sudden, you know? So it's an interesting situation with McDaniels. It's the kind of thing where I feel like he really could be very good next year, because he just all of a sudden turned the corner and figured it out finally. And that's what the speculation of Webster and Ujiri is, that this guy's close and he's gonna figure it out very soon. And that's what I hope. That's what I hope. Mike's here, logical Raptors fanatic in the house. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was locking up Booker yesterday. SGA's cousin is a serious baller. That's why I love that he's on Team Canada. That's right. Another one of our great Team Canada players, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, is a big guard swingman with some defensive length. And he was very good for us and Team Canada for FIBA last year. So, yeah, I want to see him do this in Paris also. I love the connections between all the Alexanders, Shea, Kyle, and Nickeil. And, yeah, they're a family, and they're all cousins. And having them all together on the team together has been a good synergy. It's very fun for SGA to play alongside Nickeil and vice versa. So, yeah, I'm excited. Nickeil is a top-notch defensive player with length, and I'm excited about what he can do for Canada this summer, if not for the Timberwolves in the playoffs. Bryce is saying, I have no faith in Jalen. We're better off packaging him with one of the picks. That is an option. We do have him under contract for next year, and that may be attractive to other teams, and maybe they want to try and develop him and get him somewhere. Yeah, I'm worried that he just doesn't have it up here to figure it out. I'm worried that he's just not maybe serious enough in his life. I don't know. Whatever it is, Jalen McDaniels, do some soul searching, my guy. Go on the woods this summer and just sit out there and just get really in tune with your soul and see what your soul's telling you right now. If you can do this, you may figure things out. We'll have to see. All right, let's keep going. Isaac's got Kelly and RJ and Mo on blast. I love it. The Canadian connection. And Mischief saying, I agree. We should give Bruce the boot. And he even put a cowboy boot in there. I love it. Mischief, just for using the cowboy boot, I'm going to give you a dunk. That's a funny little emoticon I don't see all the time. You got a 6. You see, you got the 6 for Toronto, 416. That's right. All right, let me see. Let's do the top 5. Here's my top 5 Raptors of the year in my countdown today. Number 5 is Jakob Poeltl. Yes, so integral to the Raptors' defense and rebounds as well as winning. It is evident that Jakob Poeltl is a big, huge factor. His presence is whether we're going to have a chance to win or not, because he is basically our best defender and biggest rim protector and rebounder down there. And without him, we're undermanned and we're undersized and going up against a team that has an advantage down low. In some ways, he can negate any big man in this league, and he can also get a lion's share of the rebounds that our team needs to get. So, yeah, we miss you, Jakob. In some ways, the way you hurt yourself this year was really a freak accident, just like Scotty's. And it's crazy that they happened in games consecutively. And Scotty hit his hand on IQ's leg and fractured his hand, his metacarpal. And then you got your hand on a Charlotte Hornets jersey, and your pinky got dragged back from hitting the fabric in a certain angle and way. That's what happened. I don't know if y'all know how Jakob hurt himself. He like swiped at a Hornet, and he hit their jersey, and his pinky got caught and bent back, like when he came down, and he tore the ligament in his pinky. And that's why he was out. Well, get that all healed up, Jakob, and come back next year healthy, and let's get to work, big man. And of course, we've got him on this 4-year contract. The first year has now been fulfilled. He still has 3 more years with us. So lots of time with Jakob going ahead, but also at the same time, if we do switch gears and go in different directions, he's a very tradable asset also. Not that I want him to go anywhere, because I know that Jakob Poeltl adds up to winning. And casuals may diss the whole thing about Jakob Poeltl, but I'm telling you, he is so crucial, important to the Raptors for us to win. Number 4 on my list is Emmanuel Quickley. Fast combo guard was a new weapon the Raptors have never had. I don't think we've ever had a player like Emmanuel Quickley on the Raptors ever in the history of the Raptors. He is a very specific kind of combo guard. You can't say Fred and Kyle were like him, because his speed differentiates in some ways. There's a lot of different things. The way he shoots is something that we don't normally allow. I mean, Kyle and Fred would do kind of that kind of shooting stuff, but it's not really the same. It's the speed up to get to the shot to shoot it. But yeah, I really like Emmanuel's presence on our team. I feel like he's the right balance of looking for his own shot and finding his own teammates. And listen, you just develop yourself. Emmanuel, you're a very smart guy. You have a strong faith, and there are very, very good things in your future I can see. And I know that you're blessed. And you know what? I'd like to have more blessed guys on our team because man, they're going to do good things in the future. And I know Emmanuel's one of those guys. So I'm so happy. We got to tie him up and get him under contract this summer, and we will. Trust me, we will. Number 3 on my list is Grady. I'm putting Grady third. I had him at second, but then I thought about things a little bit deeper, and I was like, you know what? Let's put Grady at third. Grady had an odyssey of a season. He came in and some, everybody's been all over the map with opinions on him, but I think the consensus at this point is that Grady is a very, very good shooter and a very, very good prospect for the NBA to be better and better as time goes on. We learned that there's way more to him than just one dimension of three-point shooting, that he can attack the boards to get offensive rebounds. He can get in the passing lanes with anticipation to steal the ball. He can do all kinds of really fun stuff. Some of it's cutting and passing. Some of it is just, putting the ball on the floor and dribble and pop and shot. There's a lot more skills as the year went on that he presented and displayed in games and made me realize there's way more to him than just being one of the top three-point shooters from college last year. So, Grady, you keep going. In fact, in some ways, your unflappableness really served you well this year. That a lesser rookie would have heard all the noise and felt all of the failure that you had this season, because you had failure at the beginning of the season. Let's not get it twisted. But that didn't drag you down mentally when you finally got things going luck-wise in the right way with your shooting and your production. Because that's the thing. That's what messes people up. You'll have the doubt, and then when the good things are finally happening, you're in the doubt still, so you don't get to it. But because Grady up here washes his brain of anything negative or positive every single time, he didn't get in his head after not being so successful this year. That could have changed this whole entire second half of the season. So a testament to Grady's short memory and professionalism and belief in himself to get through the tough period this year with 905 and different stuff. Yeah, they illustrated why 905 was not good for him down there in some ways, because those guys put a big target on him because they want his spot and nobody's passing it to him. And then the guys on the other side are trying to take it to him. So, yeah, good job weathering the storm and learning everything this year. In fact, the kudos you're getting from teammates like Chris Boucher and Garrett Temple and Scotty Barnes for how you went through your year. And they've even said stuff like you've had the most incredible growth of any rookie they've seen around them. Veteran like Garrett Temple, who's played in this league so many years, has seen so many rookies, said that Grady had the most development growth this season out of any rookie I've ever seen in my whole entire career. That's a big, big compliment. And that's a lot of players he's comparing you to, Grady. Number 2 on the list is our guy, RJ. Man, listen, RJ came home and fit immediately. His passion is unquestioned. Listen, I love this. In some ways, this is like well-crafted. We know RJ loves being in Toronto. He's from Toronto. We know that in some ways, like, he's going to fit things. He has a prior relationship to Masai. We had the tragedy of his brother dying this year. There's a lot that happened with RJ this year, very much a year of change for him. And in some ways, he just was professional, powerful, and passionate the whole time. And I honestly, like, he's the kind of guy who's going to put the whole Raptors franchise on his shoulders like DeMar and Kyle did before and carry us in some crazy, amazing ways in the years to come. RJ's under contract with us for quite a few years, and it is a high price. But I'm telling you, we're going to get value out of his contract because he's going to develop more on the other side, the defensive side. We already know he's unstoppable going to the basket. Nobody can stop him. He's so aggressive, he'll bully his way there, and he'll put it in. Man, I love RJ so much. I want RJ to have all the best things in his life, and that's winning a medal at Paris, and that's winning a championship with the Raptors. We want this for you, RJ. So I put him at number 2. I had him at number 3 behind Grady, but then I was like, you know what? Nah, because we got to recognize that RJ just lost his little brother, and he came back, and he's shown a consistent passion, and he's played at a high level, at a high efficiency since he switched from a Knicks jersey to a Raptors jersey. And I appreciate RJ for that. Number 1 is, of course, our guy, Barnes. Of course, the franchise face made a huge all-star leap in his 3rd season. And we love Scotty at the top of all the stats categories for the Raptors this season. Somebody who missed a chunk of the season, but still managed to be one of the leaders overall for the whole year. Scotty, you just keep being Scotty. We saw the new Scotty, Coach Scotty, while he was hurt. He saw a new perspective of understanding the game because he was hurt. And in some ways, that kind of stuff is going to be so valuable next season when he comes back healthy and gets back on the court. The new perspective of seeing it from the outside, looking in. So, Scott, we're so proud of you. I know this summer you're going to be working hard with Brian Macon, and you're going to get so much accomplished and getting more strides and leaps and bounds with your game in certain ways. Some of it's up here, really. In some ways, you can help make your shot better like you did last summer. You can get your conditioning up like you did last summer. But this year, some of what I want you to do this summer is there. You see the game different than everybody else. So see it at an advanced level ahead of everybody. And that will be the key to making you one of the top 5 players in this entire league. Is you have to see everything before everybody else, and you need to act on what you see before everybody else. This is the magic of magic. This is the greatness of Bird, and that's in you. I know it is. I see it in you. And you hone in there and trust your instincts, read that floor, and go do the damage that you know you can do to the other team. Whether it's you scoring this yourself by seeing a mismatch, and you know you got a little baby you can put on your back and you can just post up, or you recognizing somebody like Grady there in this place in the spacing, or RJ or in this or this, and taking it and giving it to your teammates in an assist, setting them up. You are the catalyst for our success. You're the key to what can be for the Raptors in the future as you read the game faster than everybody else. I truly believe that is what Scotty will be doing more and more. So there's my top 30. Feel free to disagree or have different things. In some ways, I just wanted to give player reviews for the players for the past year and kind of where I see what happened with them. And really, in some ways, a great development year for Scotty and Grady and some of the others. And then just disappointment with some of the other guys also. It's just how it is. The recap right there. Yeah, let's see. Monique is saying, glad I shared more videos of the Raptors coaches open house. She found some video yesterday and she was sharing it with us. There's a video from the Raptors developing coaches channel. I don't know exactly what the name is, but maybe I can go find it on the Facebook chat and post the link in there. You can actually see us in the video. It's kind of funny. You see the back of my head. And you can see Adriana, and you can see MSJ, and you can see a little bit of David also on the clip. Let me just get the clip, and I will share it, and you guys can go watch. Hang on, I'll put it in the chat, and you guys can go click on it and look at it here. You'll see me like the back of my head with my black hat, my black leather coat, and then you see Adriana sitting next to me. But yeah, check that out. James is saying, can we scout Devin Carter, two-way guard, late first-round pick? Sure. We haven't done scout in a while. I'll go ahead and do a scout real quick. Devin Carter. Devin Carter is an American basketball player. He's for Providence in the Big East. He's 22 years old. He's 6'5", 195 pounds. Let's see. Where's okay? He averaged about 20 points per game this past season for Providence. All right, let me go do the eye test on the YouTube for James here. Devin Carter. Let me see highlights. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay, let me get a short one. Those are all like 20 minutes. Yeah, let's just look at his All-American highlights. All right, let's see. Okay, I see he's the little guy. All right, okay. Devin is handling the ball. He comes in the lane. It's nice little hezzy, and then goes right through the defenders and gets the layup. He's short, but he has long arms, and he uses his arm length very well to beat the defender. All right, he got up and he beat the guy to the rim. They were both running together, so he showed some quickness. He's got nice timing. He's got good fundamentals for protecting the ball when he is going to the rim. Let's see. What is that? They just gave up on that play. Let's see his outside shot. Okay, that's a weird flip. He doesn't look like he had a very good follow through. Let me see. What does this follow through look like on that? Okay, that one was better. Nice little flip on it. So he has a nice high arc on his 3-point shot. I'll say that. Yeah, it's not bad three. Not bad. It looks like every time he's taking it, it's kind of, oh, there he is. The guy didn't come up on him correctly, and he just kind of like, okay, you're not going to guard me. Okay. And you know what? He's shooting from the NBA range here for sure because he's not right up on the college 3-point line. So he's showing NBA range on his three. I don't know. He looks like a pretty good shooter. I haven't seen him. Okay, there's a pass finally. Okay, there he is, throwing in the big center in this nice little shovel pass, underhanded pass rear. Okay, there's a bounce pass to his big man too. Okay, so he's showing the three skills I need to see as far as passing, 3-point shot, and ability to attack the rim and elevate. I don't know. I mean, in some ways, look, I'm not really big on guards right now. I don't know why. I'm not big on guards for this draft. I really do want a wingspan. I really, really do. And we know Masai said that he's going to draft for the best talented person wherever he's going to draft. That he just has to do that. So we'll have to see. Devin Carter doesn't look bad. He doesn't. He looks like one of the better guards y'all have asked me to look at. As far as his skills look fundamentally good, his shot looks good too. So James, not bad, but once again, I'm not really that keen on drafting guard right now. In some ways, I really do believe that guard is a position that you may not want to have too many rookies in. I like rather get like a guy who's been in the league for like 2 or 3 years and go find a vet or somebody who's been around for a little bit. I don't know, but he's not bad. I won't say Devin Carter's bad. He looks like a nice prospect. All right, let me see. Where are we in the chat? Okay, Isaac's saying, will the Bucks and Sixers both lose in the first round? Yes, I think that's true, Isaac. I think that the Pacers will win and the Knicks, and I think you're right. There you go. Bryce is saying yes. Also, logical Raptors fanatic saying vet mentoring is key to developing solid pros. Young players need that guidance from peers to understand the priorities of being a pro. Exactly right. Now more than ever. Maybe back in the day, the pros weren't as necessary because guys were getting trained better by people like Dean Smith and Roy Williams and coaches, great college coaches that actually got 4 years with players. They could really train them better for the NBA. None of it's all fast track. And these guys are coming to the league and they're not ready for the NBA. And it's extremely annoying. So you need these pros. I'm telling you, everybody says, why do we have Thad Young? Why do we have Garrett Temple? You idiots. You need these pros. Just trust me, because these youngsters aren't coming in trained. And that's part of it right there. Fiercey's got IQ over Trey Young. Very much agreeing with me. Mischief saying when Masai said he felt like he lost someone after the championship, I believe Masai was talking about Kawhi. It's a little bit that, yeah, but it's not. He's the figurehead of the symbolism of it. But you know what it is? It's this, Mischief. He felt that championship. He felt that feel of being an NBA champion, and he liked it. And that's what he's saying they took from him. He wants that feeling back of being NBA champions. That's what they took away from us. In some ways, it's symbolized by Kawhi making the decision to go to the Clippers. And that's how it got taken away from us in the beginning, because that was our MVP, and he would have been the guy who came back to try and help us repeat. So when he says it's taken away from us, sure, you could say it's Kawhi, but on a more general level, it's the championship feeling of being champions. He wants that back again. That's what he wants, that they took that from us. We could have had a chance to repeat if Kawhi was allowed to stay in Toronto after our championship year. For sure. Yeah. Mike's saying Masai wasn't talking about the security guard thing. He didn't say someone. Yeah. We lost something is what he said. Technically, we lost something. They took something from us is what they said. He took something from us. Wayne saying Raptor Freaks, it is imperative to watch the playoffs in order to gauge where we are. We're 3 to 5 years away. We need a quality mid-age point guard to carry a second unit. Last year's team with OG et al. Weren't good. It just didn't fit. The stew wasn't the right ingredients. There's maybe a little bit too much of one type of ingredient and not enough of this type of ingredient. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, Wayne, but everybody's different. And in some ways, you can't really gauge us completely by what teams in the playoffs are doing right now because they're on their own schedules. In some ways, this is an interesting thing. We could talk about the Orlando-Cleveland series. The Cleveland Cavaliers have had a little bit more playoff experience than the Magic. And in some ways, the Cavs, Donovan Mitchell, had the experience over some of the Magic players. And that could be part of the reason why the Cavs may beat the Magic in this series, is that the playoff experience of the Cavs is a little bit more with guys like Max Strus and those other guys on that team. And the Magic don't really have very good playoff experience. And sometimes that can be a factor in this. Now, I will say this. There's guys in our core on the Raptors that have playoff experience already. And that can make us be a little bit more ahead. As Masai said, he's not trying to wait for 6 years to rebuild this. In some ways, having Kelly and RJ and people like that that have playoff experience is going to be better for us when we are ready to compete again, because these guys have been there. And in some ways, if you're waiting for your young core to all learn together, like Oklahoma City or Orlando, it may take you a little longer because of that, is what I'll say. Alan Tam, bam, son. I did unblock Alan Tam. So bam, son is back. Good to see Alan. In some ways it's like, I wonder if he'll see it. He wants to come back. Hey, just don't piss me off again, Alan. You're welcome back once again. Bam, son. Alan Tam. Mischief saying, I'd rather have a 40% three-point shooter bench than a one high-paying superstar player. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You want to fit the pieces. We've got the superstars. In some ways, we've got the big pieces for our team and our core for next year and going forward already. Scotty, RJ, Emmanuel, Jakob. And in some ways, we can get one more starter. And then the other stuff is just really getting good quality guys, like a good backup point guard, and getting some shooters, like what Mischief values very much. Yeah, I'm with you on this. In some ways, I'm not trying to hit a home run right now. I'm trying to hit maybe another role player kind of player. Somebody like Grady, who has maybe a potential superstar status, but for sure is a very, very good role to be on your team for spacing with that 3-point shooting. I like how Mischief very much is valuing the 3-point prowess of any prospect to come here. And I agree with him. I think he's right when he keeps saying, I want somebody who shoots over 40%. Now, I don't understand why Bazilis's numbers were so low, because he's a much better shooter than his numbers. Trust me. It could very well be that he was on G League Ignite with a bunch of losers that didn't know how to get him the ball. And that's part of the reason why his shooting was so bad. His mechanics are really good, and I'm mystified why his percentage was so low when we just looked at it. I really am. Mike saying Tristan Kardashian is the only Canadian that dislikes the Raptors currently, I believe. I don't even know who that is. And I don't care. If they're the only Canadian that dislikes the Raptors currently, who are they? And why do they matter? We've got our own Tristan, and he's an awesome dude. And you can see him in that video that I just posted in the link. You can see him in the corner. Wayne saying, watching our former guys on other teams, it's obvious they were good, but had no help. Last year's team with Pascal, Fred, and OG was deficient, starting without a quality point guard. Stop talking, Jalen. Stop talking, Jalen. Well, I have to. He's under contract. I have to talk about Jalen McDaniels because he's still involved with us. If he gets traded this summer, like Malachi got traded this year, I won't as much. But I'm just saying, in some ways, if he can help us, that would be fantastic. If we can turn the corner with Jalen McDaniels as a player getting better. There's all kinds of weird stuff with that old team that you just mentioned, Fred, OG, and Pascal. They had a time with the championship team. They had a time with Nick in all kinds of different ways. It's a new era, and we had to start moving on. And unfortunately, last year's team should have been way better than it was, but Nick Nurse sabotaged it. You got to understand, our team was so good last year, and it wasn't working in some ways because Nick was making plans where it wouldn't work with the spacing. And a lot of that was manipulated by Nick. He turned a team that should have been a high-level playoff team into a 41-41 team that lost in the play-in. That takes a lot of screwing around and sabotage, trust me. We would have been way, way better. I don't understand how we were so bad last year. When you look at the roster we had, that it was exactly a 500 team, and they got bounced in the play-in like that. It's such a screw job by Nick, and he manipulated and controlled a lot of that. I'm going to say that right now. We should have won almost 50 games, if not 50 games last season, and we should have been a full-on playoff team. But Nick couldn't get himself out of there without failure, so he had to absolutely steer our plane into the ground so that he had an excuse to get fired and have to leave. If he was successful last season like he should have been, he wouldn't have been fired, and it wouldn't have gotten him what he wanted. So I wish people could understand what I'm saying a little bit more by opening their eyes and seeing this. Our team was not screwed up. It probably could have won if the right coach had been there, but Nick was actively on purpose trying to make them not bad. He was trying to make it confusing. He was using not being communicative with people. He was being very manipulative, very, very manipulative. Let's see. Smooth saying, "Hey, just joined the stream. Lakers 19 free throws to Denver 6, and they still lost. Refs doing everything for the Lake show." Yeah, yeah. It doesn't matter. They're that bad. They're that bad. They can hand them all the game on a platter, and they'll still fumble it. And I love that. It's like ball don't lie, just like Alvin Williams always says. The basketball gods and the way of the world will work itself out in the right way in the end. And that's what that is right there. I mean, Michael Malone understands this. He's been playing the Lakers for a couple years, and this disadvantage is something he games his plan for to overcome, and he very successfully does. And that's why I love it. They can do this all they want, but they ain't going to try and railroad the Nuggets out of the first round to help LeBron stick around. They're going to try, but they won't be successful because Jokic is no joke. The team plan and team play of the Nuggets is way better than team play of the Lakers, and you can't manufacture a better team than another better team through the refs. I'm sorry, you just can't. That's how it is. Mike saying Masai is big on humanitarian things, and to be treated the way he was when it was in that moment feels like something was taken from him. Masai wants to win the final game in Toronto and to have his moment. Yeah, I don't know if it's that, guys. I think it really is that he would like that championship feel, and he wants it back. If he was alluding to that specific moment, and I'm wrong, well, I could see where it fits in what you guys are saying. But I don't think it's that. I don't think he's that selfish and egotistical that it's his moment. He's talking about the championship feeling and the championship thing around the Raptors was taken from us, partly from like all the different events that happened since our championship, our first championship. So, yeah, I don't know. You may be right, Mike. Maybe he is alluding to the Oakland Golden State Warriors security guard that was absolutely a racist on the moment that we won the championship. Wayne saying, from what we have witnessed, Ramsey and Noel seem to be potential good fits for our team. They have to grow their three-point shooting accuracy and execute on offensive aggression. Tough formula. Yeah, I like the promise of both those guys, and they have different skills that are very powerful. Noel's court vision and passing is absolutely top-notch. He may be one of the best passers in the entire league in the NBA without even hardly played in the NBA. I'm telling you right now. And then Ramsey has a whole defensive side to him that's absolutely attractive. That guy doesn't get tired, and he's a strong on-the-ball defender that just is relentless. There's a real market for that, and especially since he just was successful in carrying the Oklahoma City Blue to the G League championship a couple, like in the last week or so. Yeah, this dude's a winner, and he has a compete level to him that's very attractive that I want to return to the Raptors lineup for next year. Bobby and Masai, Jamias Ramsey. That's the guy right there. I'm telling you. All right, there's my link to watch the clip that Monique told us about the coach's open house for a couple months ago that we all went to. You look in it, you may see me. You may see Adriana sitting next to me, standing. You may see Chris on the other side of me. You may see Tristan in the corner on that clip also. Yeah, I don't know. You may be able to see David a little bit in it also, just so you know. Fiercey's got the whole team on blast. I love to see it. Cool Cat is here. Cool Cat is saying, good morning, Raptorfreak crew. Just woke up. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to sleep in late, but it's even better to get up in the morning. Good morning to you. I don't think I sang that exactly right. All right, let's see. Well, I want to cut off because I want to finish very soon because I am here with my parents and we've got stuff to do today. That's right. Let's see. Cool Cat is saying, I felt emotional seeing the Groat and OG on opposing teams. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Kyle playing his ass off against the Knicks right away. This guy is a badass. We love Kyle a lot. And in some ways, he's the only one I'm rooting for on the Sixers. Screw the rest of them. Kyle, I love you. You do what you do, but I hope your team loses. And let's go Knicks. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. And Mike's giving a award to Masai Ujiri. I like to see that. Stargate saying, I don't want Trae Young anywhere near this team. Yeah, I don't either. He's not a winning player. And once again, I can deem guys as this is a winner. This is a guy who will win a championship. This is a guy who won't. I can deem who these guys are in the league. Embiid is one of the guys who won't win a championship. Trae Young is one of the guys that won't win a championship. Yeah, those two guys I know for sure are just they're in the way of themselves to win championships, just partly because of who they are. And it's not even Joel's fault. If he was stronger and he wasn't so injury prone, he might have a chance. But in Trae Young, yeah, it's his build as a player. He's never going to win. He's never, ever going to win a championship. Trust me. because he has to be number one on his team. Well, can he be number 3 or 4 on a team? Maybe he'll win a championship later in his career when he's aged and he doesn't have to be the man. Maybe he's like the 3rd or 4th option. Then Trae Young could win a championship. But if he's going to demand the highest salary on whatever team he's on, a team will never win. And the Hawks are feeling that the whole time he's been there. I'm telling you. Wayne saying, looking at OG, he seems to have slimmed down a bit. Observing how he's playing now, I'm convinced that he did not check out. He's a top class role player and not a lead attack player. He's okay in his role. Yeah, it's not. I won't say that he didn't try on our court and he didn't try playing for the Raptors. I mean, he more mentally checked out. In some ways, he was kind of already projecting himself in another location. Now, he was a pro. He showed up every day. He worked hard. He gave the right effort for us. I'm not saying he did a Vince Carter and he didn't play hard in games for us, because he did. I'm saying more that he checked out as far as like he knew the writing was on the wall and he's on his way out. And then maybe in some ways it's like I don't know how to describe it exactly, because I don't know exactly, obviously. But I would say there probably was a certain level of like, I know the next thing's coming, and in some ways I'm ready to go to it, that kind of thing. It's not, but he was an ultimate pro the whole entire time. It's just there was a weird, murky energy around him in some ways ever since David Thorpe's comments about Nick Nurse and Fred and OG. I wondered about them because in some ways of what he said. Let's see. Fiercely saying, I have a special request for Logical. I know it is time consuming and requires lots of work, but can we have just one clip of your off-season analysis in terms of signings and free agency? Wow. So Fiercey is coming to Mike with a request for him to reignite and start more content on his YouTube channel. Once again, I completely agree with Fiercey. And I don't know where you're at with this, Mike, and maybe you're going to answer in the next comment, but it would be great to see a new clip from you on your channel. That'd be fantastic. Mike saying, I got to check back on his exact wording, but it seems like when he said the same thing, it was in context of the way he was treated. Yeah, I didn't get that impression, Mike. That's not what I heard when he said it. I didn't like flash back to that exact moment with the security guard. In some ways, that's not a moment that's defining Messiah in his head. I'm sure he's not holding on to it in any kind of way. No, to me, it was basically we won the championship. We got that feeling, and we want that back. That is what he wants back, that was taken from us. And listen to it from my perspective, what I just said. That's probably more what likely it is. It's a lot more general and not so egocentric to himself. He's talking for the whole team. He's talking for the Raptors franchise. He's not talking for just specifically himself. Mike's saying, fiercely, I can look at how the money will be planned at the moment for the new core pieces and options. Yeah, anything you want to do with cap stuff this summer and being more explanatory to general Raptors fans who don't understand that stuff. You have a gift of being able to explain things to people, Mike. And I know you're busy and your life has changed and different things and all this kind of stuff. But if you can revisit your channel and put some new content out this summer, we would all welcome it. And we'd be very, very happy to watch it, just so you know. But no pressure. If you can, you can. If you can't, I understand because of whatever's going on in your life. We get it. Monique saying, I didn't watch the Denver game, obviously, right? But how did Jamal and MPJ do? Anyone? Okay, all right. You want me to go look at that real quick? Hang on. Where's the best place for me? Oh, on NBA, of course. Yeah, last night, Michael Porter Jr. didn't play bad. I was wondering about whether he would be distracted coming straight from his brother's DUI manslaughter trial where he was a witness and he got convicted for 6 years. He got 19 points on 8 of 15 shooting, 3 of 7 from 3, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. So, yeah, Michael Porter Jr., very sound play. Jamal Murray, very good, 9 of 24, took a lot of shots, not necessarily the best shooting, 4 of 9 from 3, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 22 points, and a block for Jamal Murray. So both those players weren't bad, Mo. They weren't bad at all. Jamal looked good as our Canadian guy, and Michael Porter, unflappable, even though his family's falling apart. Let's see. Mike is saying Tristan Thompson his name is Tristan Kardashian. See, I'm not going to get all this stuff. I don't care about the Kardashians in some ways, Mike. Once again, I thought that the person's just name was Tristan Kardashian. He's a person in Raptors world or something, and they're being critical of the team. I'm not going to put this stuff together. In some ways, the Kardashians don't exist in my world. I get it. They're a part of things. Chris Humphries, Tristan Thompson, Chloe, all that kind of bullshit. But honestly, I don't live in this tabloid world in some ways. Okay, so you were talking about Tristan Thompson. Yeah, I don't care what happens with Tristan Thompson. In some ways, he would be helpful to Team Canada this summer, but also at the same time, he's older and he's like, there's a lot of other things he needs to worry about and think about right now in his career and his life. Let's just put it that way. I don't know. Either way, I value Kem Birch coming back and being on Team Canada over Tristan Thompson. Because looking like that could very much happen from what we've heard recently, that Kem Birch is going to come and try out. And he was already on Team Canada. So he's a good person to have around. I know Tristan's been on it too, but I don't know. I don't even know what you're trying to say, Mike. Are you saying that Tristan's already said he won't play for Team Canada? Who cares? That's not even news. Who cares? Let's see. Wayne's saying that's exactly the point, Lex, on timelines. Knicks, Cavs, and possibly Magic are not going to get worse. We don't have a coherent team as of yet. So realistically, are a minimum 3 years from real quality. I mean, I don't like totally gauging us against other people because we really have our own journey. And, Masai and Bobby, they're crazy. They'll do stuff like Kawhi Leonard trade and everything changes really quickly. So I don't know. We can't really, I know I've used this analogy about the escalator of coming up as a young team in the league, and you kind of have to wait your turn. And there may be teams that are ahead of us that have been on the escalator a little bit more steps ahead of us. But in some ways, also, we could jump steps on people very quickly. So once again, Masai said he's not trying to wait for 6 years. If he can do this rebuild in 3 years or less, he will. Watch. So I don't know how this is going to go down, Wayne. In some ways, I'm not worried about what other teams are doing. I'm only worried about what the Raptors do. I'm worried about what Scotty and Grady does. And I'm not going to be gauging myself against the Magic and the Cavs too much because they have a whole other things that they're dealing with their management, their team, their coaches, and all that kind of stuff. And we have different things. And in some ways, that's not always the same path. I mean, you could think about how the Raptors won their first championship. And we kind of jumped in line on a lot of people at that point. So I get what your logic's saying, but also at the same time, I defy it because I know Masai is that kind of guy. Infamous saying, salute, freaks. Masai was referring to the fact that we never got the chance to defend our championship the proper way. There's no other team I can think of that happened to. Yeah, I think that's the more the thing that I thought he was meaning when he said that. That it's more about that it was taken away from us the ability to try and defend as championships because Kawhi went to the Clippers and we didn't really ever get a fair shake. And not only that happened, there was a pandemic that absolutely we had a chance to actually repeat without Kawhi, but the pandemic actually took something from us also. So in some ways, he's saying that the Kawhi was taken from us, but also the pandemic came and took an opportunity away from us and then caused the bubble situation, which is ridiculous. Thank you, Isaac, for the cutoff. I appreciate it. Mike's saying, you guys could be right. My bad, Mischief. From what I've heard from Masai, something taken is how he describes the feeling of what happened with the security guard. Bro, he's not that self-centered. Seriously. It's not like Masai 5-6 years later is thinking about that security guard in any kind of way. Seriously, Mike, think about this. Winder assist with logic. Does he give that security guard so much power that he's still dwelling on him 6 years ago? No, he's not. Come on, Mike. Think about this. He's talking about in general for our franchise exactly what we've been describing just now. Yeah. Yes. She's very happy that you might make something. And we are very happy if you do. Mo's saying, keep up the great streams, Lex. Go Raptors for life. Good times approaching. Raptor-Freak crew strong. That's right, Monique. We got to do what we got to do and keep on keeping on. I'm going to get done with the stream very soon. Wayne saying Nick Nurse shenanigans was evident from series against the Sixers. High-level competition have levels in match play. Watching the playoffs, that's evident. We can't judge our team without viewing other teams. No, I get what you're saying, but in some ways, there's special cases. And sometimes it's a special player. I mean, we could talk about the Lakers when Magic was a rookie. Look at what they did. I mean, seriously. There's all kinds of different ways this can go. Scotty could have a huge leap, and it doesn't matter whether the Magic and the Cavs are ahead of us in their development because Scotty is just like that. There's all kinds of different ways this could go. Seriously, I get it. You want to gauge against other people. It's natural to compare yourself to other people, but this is what I would say to anybody in their own personal lives and themselves. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You are uniquely yourself. And I would even say that Masai would probably answer this the same way I am to you, Wayne. Saying we're not worried about whatever other people are doing. We're only worried about ourselves and getting better ourselves. Because in the end, we want to gauge whether we're getting better ourselves against ourselves from before. And that's all that really matters. We can't try and keep up with the Joneses. There's no point. So that's the only reason why I say this. I mean, you want to look at those other teams and say, well, they're there. And oh my gosh, they're always going to be ahead of us because they're ahead of us in the foot race because they got started already with their rebuild before us. We can't do that. We can't do that. Everybody has different schedules in their life. Some of them may be on the Washington Wizards schedule and just perpetually spinning their wheels. Some teams will do a normal rebuild like Orlando, and they'll have stumbling blocks and they'll get more and more. Some ways we're not like those teams. We are uniquely the Toronto Raptors, and we do things a little bit differently because we have Masai Ujiri running this team. And that's why I would say like that. Let's see. Mike's saying, I'm saying Tristan Thompson is the only Canadian currently that dislikes the Raptors. You were talking about Western Canada dislike. Oh, yeah. See, Mike, you got to spell it out to me. You got to baby me. I know. I was only saying that about Kelly. Tristan's not even from Western Canada. He's from Toronto. And I don't think that's right. I wouldn't say that he hates the Raptors. That doesn't make any sense. I have never heard him make an opinion on the Raptors. It could very well be he doesn't care about the Raptors either way. He doesn't have an opinion about him. He's like, I don't hate him, but I don't really like him. I don't really have any kind of opinion on him. I think that's probably true. I know that Tristan's very active in the Toronto community. Once again, he has a sibling that has epilepsy, and he's been one of the biggest benefactors to Toronto Epilepsy Foundation. And that's how Adriana knows who he is and what he's done for them with the funding for that foundation. So in some ways, he's a really important person for my girlfriend and the foundation that she utilizes and has a big part in. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Stargate saying, I agree with Wayne, Lex. You can't be like those other fans of other teams who don't watch basketball other than their own respect. I am that guy, though, Stargate. I'm very much on the record for being that guy. Yes, we have our own journey, but it goes through other teams. I think you're misunderstanding Wayne's point. Maybe that may be true. It may be that we're just kind of like semantically just wrong in different ways for each other and what we're trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, and I do only watch the Raptors. I'm not watching any of these playoff games. I don't have time. I put so much effort into this channel with creating it and watching the Raptors very specifically. And in recent years, I've been watching all the 905 games also. That's a huge amount of my free time. And I don't have time to be a general NBA fan. And if that makes a blind spot for me, so be it. But I see all the other teams when they play us. And in some ways, I do get to gauge the other teams and understand their personnel when they play us. So I don't know. You guys can see that as a weakness, or you're like, oh, Lex, you need to watch more other teams. But I'm not going to because I don't have any time. And that's not going to change. So, but I do see a lot of these teams over the years, and I see how they develop. And I do have an educated background on watching a lot of NBA and understanding teams and how they work and stuff like that. All I'm trying to say with my point is, and this is the way Masai and Bobby look at it too, is they know we're specifically who we are. And in some ways, like Masai and Bobby said, we're going to watch all the other teams rebuild and see how they do it and see how they are successful or not successful. But ultimately, as Masai said, we are ourselves. And we got to do whatever specifically is right for us. We can't carbon copy Cleveland or Orlando's path to doing what they're doing, or SGA in Oklahoma City. No, we have to specifically do what's best for us in our specific situations. And there's no carbon copy to how to rebuild your franchise. There's just no like set template. That's what I'm trying to say. In some ways, I get it. Gauge us against Cleveland, gauge us against Orlando. It's not fair to us. And also, we have no idea what kind of crazy moves Masai and Bobby may pull off this summer. And that may be a big part of how it's different there. But yeah, I want to make sure we understand each other's points. But yeah, I'm not going to watch anybody else. I'm sorry, Stargate. I just don't have the time, especially now that I'm out here in the country. And I'm going to have to be doing way more stuff, getting things ready and all kinds of different things. So Wayne saying, we like who we like. NBA Chef thinks Malik Williams is a good player. Go figure. Lex, the point is we are not one or two pieces away. I know this. I'm not saying that we are. Championship teams can't depend on the star player. Everyone needs help. No, I agree with all this. I think that this is semantics. In some ways, I'm not disagreeing with you guys at all. It's just that I know that from Masai and Bobby's point, they really look at us as their own like specific case. And that they have to deal with the things that we have to deal with, not only as being the only Canadian team in the NBA, but all kinds of different other things that other teams may not have the advantages or disadvantages of. So, and they're looking at not only the NBA, these guys study baseball, they study the NFL, they study hockey. They're studying every other sports league in the world and how teams rebuild and stuff like that. And they're garnering knowledge from what works and what doesn't. But in some ways, that knowledge is not applicable to our situation. But they can see the stories, the tales of worry, or the cautionary tale of this franchise in the NFL, or cautionary tale of this franchise in the NBA. But in some ways, they can only see the tales and see what happens. But if it's not specifically the kind of conditions we're dealing with, how helpful is that? Does that make sense? That was the point he was trying to make when he did his press conference last week when this subject came up. Is, yeah, we're looking at everybody who's rebuilding and doing different things in the sports world, but we ultimately have to do what's best for us specifically in every case. And that may not be anything like what the Cavs are trying to do or the Magic are trying to do. I think that was his point. Let's see. And I know we're a bunch of pieces away. We're at the bottom right now. We bottomed out with that losing streak at the end of the season, and we're rebuilding everything from scratch to a point. But we have a lot of good pieces and main core already sitting with us, and we have to see them gel correctly with a training camp going into next season and see what's possible. So we'll have to see. Mike saying it's from the perspective of being able to enjoy the win of the championship, not him being congratulated. It's the personal experience during the moment when he should have been able to celebrate. Yeah, he doesn't care about that, Mike. Mike, you got to understand, he's not an egotist. In some ways, he's not worried about him in his moment. He's worried about getting the franchise back to having that feeling and that culture and that caliber of respect in the league. In some ways, he may be saying more, I don't like how our respect was taken from us in the last 5 years, and I want to regain that back. You're making Masai more like he's an egotist and he's only about him and his feeling and his experience. That's not what he's saying. He's saying he wants to bring the culture and the feel back to the team, and that it was taken from us, not just from him. That's what I'm saying. All right, Mitch just got cut off. And Wayne's saying, not debating our development model. We agree on our model point. It's a minimum 3 years away. There you go. I mean, I could see them figuring out a fast track and being able to do things faster than the Wizards, who have spun their wheels for like a couple decades, faster than the Pistons, who've had all the lottery picks in the world. It doesn't mean jack shit. Faster than the Magic, trying to figure out things with Jamal Mosley. Some people are saying part of the reason why the Cavs will probably beat the Magic is because JB Bickerstaff is just a little bit ahead in his coaching career than Jamal Mosley. There's all kinds of different factors in different things and where people step in on the hierarchy of the escalator of who's the best team. We can jump some steps ahead of some of these teams that are ahead of us right now in the next couple of years, with certain really awesome things happening for us. Grady comes back next year and he's a completely even more of a weapon. Oh my gosh, Scotty, you got to think about that, especially if all of our guys are very motivated to come back to be absolutely better. IQ, RJ, Scotty, Grady, those four players in particular, if they came back next year and they have made strides and leaps, that all adds up in the kit and caboodle together. And boom, all of a sudden we are a way better team just from the existing guys, not to mention the free agent acquisition or the draft pick that we got. So that's kind of what I'm saying there. Mike's saying, I'm going to look into it more. Go ahead, Mike. Go watch the end of season press conference, and that's where you need to look into it. Just listen to Masai in that part again from last week. I watched it 5 times, Mike. So, yeah, if you only watch it once, I watched him 5 times. I watched him at regular speed. I watched him at time and a half speed. I watched him at time and a quarter speed. And I did it like three more times after that. So I watched that very closely because I needed to know exactly what Masai was talking about. And that's the interpretation I got. So go back and watch his end of season presser. Watch the whole thing. It's enjoyable. It's fun. He drops an F-bomb. So, yeah, you can see that. It could be the tampering of Kawhi, but that he's talking about. I think it's just the whole thing in general. That is one part of it. Yeah. Yeah, he's not specifically saying the tampering of Kawhi. But yeah, you can say, yeah, they took Kawhi from us. They took the season from us because of the pandemic. They did this. Yeah, no, it's the feeling of it. I'm telling you, he loves that feeling. What did he say afterwards? He wants to get another one. He wants to continue to have that feeling. He wants to go get another one. That's what it is. It's all code for him wanting a second championship. is basically what it is. It's nothing else other than that. You can read into it as, oh, it's the security guard in Oakland. No, he's let go of that. That's all been settled legally, and all the right things have happened about that. You think that Masai is heavy in his heart where he just holds on to that for 5 years? No, he's moving on. He has other things to do. He's very busy. So yeah, that incident in some ways probably doesn't even cross his mind hardly ever at all at this point. Seriously, I would tell you that. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me today. Good job, Fiercey, getting Tim Kempton, the classic card of the day. Really good job there. My top 30 Raptors for the season. Go back and watch it if you want. The top 5 were Jakob, Emmanuel, Grady, and RJ, and Scotty. That's right. Good job last night in the NBA with the playoffs. Most of the teams I wanted to win won, and that's cool. Marquise Noel's on Instagram saying, protect your energy. So y'all get out there and protect your energy. And also we got Oakley is posting a Knicks sweep that way the Sixers on his Instagram stories from when he played on the Knicks, and they swept the Sixers. So he's definitely on the Sixers side. As I said, there's Dennis and Ellen Schroeder in Cleveland supporting the Wagner brothers on Magic as the German teammates. So it's cool to see Dennis go and support another part of the NBA. And then he was back to New York after that. And he's been in Toronto too a lot lately. He's on Twitch a lot right now too. Grady reposting Chris Boucher's picture of him with the development year. That's awesome. And then he also said happy birthday to Oshai for his birthday yesterday. So there's your Instagram stories just real quick. All right. Thanks for watching me, guys. Happy birthday, Brendan Malone, the original coach of the Toronto Raptors. Really, really awesome that your son won a championship before you passed away. And in the memory of you, your first birthday after your passing, we really do respect and love you and thank you for being our coach our very first year as an expansion team, Brendan Malone. And I know you're watching your son and you're very proud of him beating the Lakers last night. That was a big deal. There's something interesting that the Knicks are doing with their media guide right now in this season. They are doing something with the refs. They actually have released a ref sheet that's absolutely crazy and amazing. I want to share it with you guys in the chat. It is it's like my ref report, except it's absolutely insanely detailed. It has everything about these guys, the referees that were reffing for them last night, and like their tendencies and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Y'all should kind of look at this and see what I'm talking about. Let me just see if I can get the image address so that you guys can go look at it yourselves. It's pretty interesting. It's very in depth. Check it out. This is what the Knicks press people are putting in their media guides for the games now at this point. Oh, it won't let me share it. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that, guys. Either way, I should get out of here and get done since it's almost 2 hours right on the dot. All right. Thanks for watching me today. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And tomorrow we'll do a Monday moment. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out today, and I'll have more stuff ready for you. Tuesday trivia. Wow. Wild card Wednesday. Thursday think tank. All the regular off-season stuff as we go through the week once again. That's right. Let's see. Mike saying Masai with his 2 Larry O'Briens. That's right. He wants more than 1. He wants 2. He wants 3. He wants 4. And Tom saying, Raptor your day, Raptor Freak family. All right. Thank you, Tommy. Once again, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And let's go Raptors. Yeah.